Okay. Sherry, you are new to me, so I'll do a formal introduction. My name is Paul Conti. I am the perspective coach for the Productive Aging Collective. This movement, this platform is to educate everybody that's involved, all the professionals that are involved in the senior space. This movement is more something from the heart, and then you get paid. It's not necessarily something where I'm going to get paid and then I'll feel good. It's kind of the opposite when you're working with seniors. Anybody that has been working with seniors can certainly attest to that. But from my perspective, I share ideas, strategies, and concepts that in theory should enhance your personal and your professional life. You should be making more money after you're done with what I share with you. The assumption would be that you actually implement it. So I tell everybody all the time, pull one thing from this call, just one, because you've got four coaches, you got so much diversity in the information, the education you're getting, it can be overwhelming to everybody, myself included. Paralysis by analysis, too much is going on. So I would say to you during these calls, engage me, challenge yourself, one thing, pull one thing out of the call that you can implement as soon as we're done with this call that grows you personally and or professionally. One thing. There might be more, but I'm saying just pull one. Kristen, if I may start with you. Good morning, everybody. If you could come off Zoom, darling, I'd appreciate it. So the reason I'm coming to you is because I know you are taking one thing you learned from a previous LFG call with me, and you were going to implement it with the attorney. What happened with that call, that conversation?
So we have started the conversation. He is, because I cover 3 counties, he is working on a list of attorney partners. So estate, bankruptcy, divorce, probate,
Come on
over 3 counties for me.
Okay, so man, I love you. So give me an idea, Kristen, please share with everybody here, because I don't do wins. I'm not a guy that talks about wins. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them. To me, this is what a win is. It's an award ceremony. I got somebody under contract. Hey, congratulations, good job. That's a win. There's nothing wrong with that. In a coaching environment, I want to know about the victory. I want to know the whole story, because I'm showing up here today to not give you accolades for a job well done, because that doesn't help me. That doesn't help my family. It doesn't help my business. Teach me exactly what you did to make that happen. So the backstory, gang, for everybody listening is Kristen was new to the calls, came to one of my calls, learned about the interaction we could/should be having with an attorney. She then takes that and approaches the attorney in the office. Kristen, is that the story so far?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You approach that attorney, because there are other people on this call that have been hearing me say this kind of stuff, but have not implemented it yet. And gang, listen, I'm going to remind everybody, I'm not smarter than anybody on this call. It took me 7 years to get a 4-year college degree. I'm not smarter than you. I'm only executing on what I teach faster than you. And that's also relative. I'm doing this over 20 years. So I don't expect you to hear this on one call and execute on it. And there are some people that do. Kristen is a beautiful example, and there are plenty others. Kristen, you sit down with this attorney. What type of attorney is this?
So he does real estate. He is also a litigation attorney. Personal injury, like he kind of has his hands in several pieces of pie.
Okay.
But he has a partner that he shares with. So Andy's more on the real estate litigation side, and his partner does more of the injury, but they kind of go back and forth.
Okay. So gang, just so everybody knows where I'm coming from as the perspective coach, my perspective tells me this. I believe somebody today is getting divorced. I believe somebody today is getting married. I believe somebody today is dying. I believe somebody today is relocating. I believe that in my heart. The reason I believe that, and my conviction in that belief is so high, is because over the course of 20 years, it happens all the time. And I do more and more of these calls where I'm able to realize this happening. My example is this, right? I go into this meeting with an intention and a declared result. So my intention to help Kristen with this meeting is that every attorney knows other attorneys. You might think on the surface, the real estate attorney can't give me business because he's working with 20 other realtors, and that's where he gets all his business from. I disagree entirely. Here's why. Think about this. Every realtor is thinking the same thing. So every single realtor stands on the sidelines. He can't possibly help me. He's helping all the other realtors. I'm like, no, he can help you. Remember this phrase. If you want someone to react differently towards you, you must act differently towards them. You're in control of the feedback you get. You're in control of the objection. You know how many times somebody says, Paulie, help me overcome this objection? I said, you created it. You did that. They didn't do it. All you're getting from whoever it is that you're speaking to is feedback based on what you gave them. I've been telling my children since birth, people's opinion of you is based on what you gave them. I need you to really grasp that. It's so simple. So this isn't an objection you need to get over. This is a performance you need to perfect. The objection is based on the performance, the information you gave them. You're merely getting feedback from it. That's all it is. Do not get nervous, pissed off, upset. Oh, I can't get over this objection. I heard this one again. You must reflect on your performance to minimize the objection. With that being considered, the reason you hire a coach is to learn from my mistakes so that you don't have to make them. That's why you hire a coach. You are getting coaching, but do you have a coach? There's the difference, gang. So with this, what I said to her was, and she literally went right down the list. This attorney knows other attorneys. And where do we as real estate professionals would like to get our business from? Well, let's talk about it. Divorce attorney, estate planner, probate attorney or elder care attorney, and bankruptcy. Why am I sharing those with you? Keep this in mind, gang. Every coach in any capacity, generally speaking, is sharing their experiences with you. Think about this, the word hope. Hope, H-O-P-E. Remember, hearing other people's experiences. That's what this is. And you're collecting all of that from all the people you are giving your time and attention to, hearing other people's experiences. So my experiences might be different from another coach's. And if my experiences resonate with you and it makes sense, you apply it. If it doesn't, check the box. Don't go to Paulie's call, go to somebody else's. But let's look at the common sense of this. The common sense of this says when somebody gets a divorce, and by the way, just so you're all aware, the divorce stats, 55%, the highest in history, depending on what internet site you look at. So if 50+% of marriages are going to fail in divorce, I like to get in front of a divorce attorney, which means they're probably going to have my client. This goes back to the phrase I said before, which causes confusion. Paulie, why would you tell me that? You already clouded my brain with confusion. It's intentional. Everything is. I don't farm a territory. I would rather own the farm. Farming a territory with 30 other real estate agents, to me, is ridiculous. I don't understand the concept. What, are they going to like your flyer better? They're going to think you're prettier, funnier, taller, more handsome? I don't get any of that. So farming a territory, to me, makes me look like everybody else. If I can, when I can own the farm, the divorce attorney is the farm. When you learn more about their business, you'll recognize that they have somebody getting a divorce, finalizing their divorce every single month of the year. So I can either farm a territory to get a buyer or seller, or I can own the farm to be in front of buyers or sellers every single month. Which is easiest to you? Maybe farming a territory is easiest. Is it the most profitable? You have to determine that. I would rather invest my time and talent into someone that has somebody selling or buying every single month than to try and farm a territory to find that one person. If that makes sense, continue to pursue what I'm teaching. If it doesn't, do what you've been doing. There's nothing wrong with that. You're in charge. The challenge I'm presenting to you is this. The attorney who's trying to get Kristen's business has that relationship. Remember, it's called leverage, and you don't even need to be Italian or from New Jersey to flex it. Leverage. You have it as the CEO of a real estate empire. You have the leverage, not the real estate attorney, but you're going to flex your leverage to get him to go through his leverage. I want the introduction of divorce attorney. Estate planners. As a refresher, estate planners deal with the living. Probate attorneys deal with the dead. Sometimes they do both. So for all of you, if your names are not on the listing signs of the estate sales, you have no partnership with those attorneys. And I've taught you countless times before how to get those partnerships. If you want a refresher, happy to do it. This attorney knows those attorneys, and bankruptcy attorney, as I mentioned last week, we just got 2 deals from the bankruptcy attorney local here in New Jersey, who is getting clients that have accumulated a ton of debt and have to sell their house. So I'm going to bring this back to 2020, that wonderful thing called COVID-19. They're working on COVID 20 and 21 and 22. They're coming. Don't worry about it, right? So with that, what happened? Let's talk about the common sense of it. And I don't say this disrespectfully. You need someone what? I need your experience, Paul, so that I don't have to experience it. The bankruptcy attorneys I work with, they file between 350 and 400 divorces a year. A year. Well, guess what happened when COVID hit? Zero. I want you to grasp the concept that the government just told people, don't worry about making your mortgage payment. You don't have to pay your rent. You don't have to pay your student loans. Don't worry about it. We're not even going to mark you late on credit. So millions of people didn't pay those bills. And the bankruptcy attorneys can't file bankruptcy because nobody doesn't need it anymore. Holy smokes. The bankruptcy attorneys are going bankrupt, pun intended. So now look at this several years later when what? The government's saying, yeah, you actually do have to pay your bills. The mortgage companies want their money. All the people you were supposed to pay, they want their money. They're now sending you the bills. Guess what people can't do? Pay them. My bankruptcy attorneys don't come to the calls anymore. Why? They're so busy. They're flooded with business. And now when those people can't perform, they have to sell the house. Now, this isn't taught in real estate school, but I'm saying pay attention to the market, the economy, the world, your client. Pay attention. So if all those people that didn't pay their bills now have to pay their bills, all those people that were at 2 and 3% on a mortgage interest rate, now they're forced to sell their house. Interest rate isn't as important. They're going into foreclosure. How do we avoid that? You catch them beforehand. Bankruptcy is done beforehand. Now, I'm not saying go out there and change your entire marketing strategy to get in front of bankruptcy attorneys. I'm not. I'm saying use the leverage that you have to throw your tackle, your fishing lure in the pond where the fish are. And if you pay attention to these 4 areas, that's where your clients are. I'm not saying attend every divorce attorney symposium. I'm not saying attend every estate planning. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if this identifies with you as common sense, I would rather own the farms than farm a territory in the traditional sense of the real estate world. I'm going to take a breath. Ask me what your questions are about any of this. Kristen implemented that immediately, and we're hearing the outcome. The attorney she spoke to is now looking in 3 counties to get introductions to Kristen of these people. Right? Am I right, Kristen? Yes. So now, here's how I would guide Kristen. I would say, Kristen, let's go into your world, because based on what I teach, if you are looking to trigger the law of reciprocity, you have to go first. So here's what I would encourage Kristen to do, and all of you, if this makes sense. I would now grab my clipboard. I travel everywhere with it, you know that. I grab my clipboard and I start to take surveys. I start to take surveys because in representation of the survey, I'm going to ask the questions of the board members I serve. Who are my board members? Right there. You are looking to build your board of directors. You are interviewing for a seat at your table to help represent your real estate empire. Folks, empire is a big word. You either have a real estate business, a real estate corporation, or a real estate empire. You pick. Real estate empire. So the thought process is, in the bigness of that empire, I'm interviewing for seats at my table. Who am I interviewing for? Divorce, estate, probate, elder care attorney, synonymous, one and the same, bankruptcy. So what am I going to do? My survey would be based on who I serve. So if I were Kristen, I would then be looking back, always look in the rear view mirror before the windshield. I would be looking back on closed production for myself. Kristen runs a team. Kristen, you have what, 20 agents?
I manage 20 agents. They're not, I'm solo agent, but I manage 20 agents. And so for Andy, who's our new in-house attorney, he wants that business from my 30 agents. So if he wants me to push him, he's got to give a little love to me.
And she's not even Italian. I love it. I love it, right? So think about the thought process here. So what do I want to do? If I'm Kristen, I look back on the book, I sit with my 20 agents, and here's something that I would be doing. I would be teaching and educating and empowering all of them about this. Now, let's do this real quick. Daryl knows this like the back of his hand. Daryl, the two questions I always ask of every professional are what, Daryl?
Book and source.
Baby, right there. Huh? Those are the two questions I ask of every professional. Daryl's seen me do it. Anybody else that's hired me for coaching has seen me do it with their professionals. Book and source I get as early in the call as possible. That provides the data to me. So we'll go another step further for you. Data plus possibility equals the opportunity. It's very systemed for me. So I don't deviate because it works, and it's been working for 20 years. I don't deviate. It works. Now, I would be teaching Kristen's 20 agents, 30 agents. I would be teaching them all of this and say, okay, gang, let's do this, right? Let's take a look at our closed production for the last 6 months, 3 months, 12 months, whatever you want to do. Today, we're going to make one phone call. If you're a little overly aggressive, you can make 2, but I'm only looking for 1. In an office of 20 agents, gang, I'm talking to every single one of you, not just Kristen, but I'm giving Kristen the big picture, the magnitude of what she's actually sitting on. Every single agent is going to make one phone call to their closed book. All of you should be doing the exact same thing. Cindy calls a client she closed 3 months ago. How's the wife? How's the kids? How's the dog? How's the house? Wonderful. Did you guys update your will after settlement? No. What? I'll take care of that for you. I'll have my guy give you a call. Dang, it's basic data. It reveals the opportunity. So let's go back to the survey. Why would I be asking my buyer or seller if they updated their will after settlement? Because they're going to need the services of the estate planner. Easy checkbox. So if I'm all of you, the one thing I do today, I call a closed client. How's the wife? How's the kids? How's the husband? How's the dog? How's the house? Great. Did you update your will after settlement? What? No, I got a guy. Don't worry about it. I'll take care of it for you. Collect the data. One phone call today. There's your one tip for today. An implementable tip that moves you closer to the money. That's the objective, to make you money. That's why you come here. Make money, period. So if I have 20 agents on my team and everybody calls one client today, let's do the math, gang. Does anybody remember the statistic in America of what percentage of people do not have a will?
67.
I'm in. 67% of the population does not have a will. If Kristen implements this with her team, which I've offered to help her with, and 20 agents talk to one client today, She has generated 12 clients that need the assistance of the estate planner. Can you imagine, and I do this all the time, do the role reversal. You ready? Here it is. I'm an estate planner in town. I call Cindy Johnson. Cindy, holy Conti, I'm the most phenomenal estate planner in town. I'm not saying that. Our mutual friend at the title company says that about me. He also says that about you. Cindy, I just want to let you know, long and short, every year I have about 6 to 8 clients that pass away. They need to sell their home. I'm looking for the agent that can handle that volume. Is that you? Cindy's like, yes, it is. And then I would say something like this, Cindy, would you be interested and willing to learn how to help my business in the same manner I'm helping yours? And more than likely, Cindy would say, yes, great. Let me teach you what that looks like. And that's what I do. What we're not doing is that. We're chasing busy. We're chasing a buyer or seller. We're doing things like that, but we're not actually moving the needle and getting closer to the bank. And that's exactly what that does. So the reason I do that role reversal every time is because every time it works. And everybody 100% of the time agrees that maybe I make one phone call. I got news for you, gang. It's never a bad time to call a closed client, ever, about anything. Kids, flowers, birthday, ever. Get them on a call. Have a conversation. Paul, I don't want to sound like you. Don't sound like me. Sound like you. You're not trying to be me. You're looking to be a better version of you and take in what? Other people's experiences of how you could build a reciprocal partnership is what you should be taking from this call today and implementing today. Enough with the learning. Let's start earning. You all are coming to these calls far too often not have this implemented at this point. This is simple, which is exactly what real estate is. To me, simple. But if you get caught in the real estate minutia, it seems kind of hard. I don't pay attention to that crap. So that's the thought process. That's the call that I make. If 50 some odd % of married couples are going to get a divorce, I'm not calling my close clients and saying, how's your marriage? Are you in trouble? I'm not doing any of that. I'm having a conversation, and that could be revealed to me in the conversation. But I'm not asking, how's your marriage? The one thing I will teach you that is actually very easy is when you look back on your closed book, how do I bring something to a divorce attorney? Two opportunities. Does anybody remember the first opportunity? I'm going to give you a hint because we're going deeper into the educational trough. Boyfriend and girlfriend buying a home, not married. What do they need? Boyfriend, girlfriend buying a home that are not married. What do they need?
Rights and survivorship.
Close, Frankie. Some might say counselor, but that's another story for another day. A cohabitation agreement. Cohabitation agreement. Please fact check me. A cohabitation agreement is something that an unmarried couple needs in the next step of buying real estate, which protects their interest in the property. Title does not do what a cohabitation agreement does. Now, if you had to take a guess, who writes cohabitation agreements? If you had to take a guess, divorce attorneys. So just look back on your closed production, look at your existing client base and your future clients. Do I have any couples buying a home that are not married? The next step is cohabitation agreement. What's that? Well, God forbid, 6 months, 6 years, somewhere down the line, you guys never get married and something happens to go wrong. I'm only saying this as a neutral party to care for both of you. You're in love. You can disregard just about everything I'm saying, but in the event, God forbid, who's protecting whose interest as far as who put what down, who fixed the carpet, who bought the food, who did the repairs on the washer and dryer, who does that? A cohabitation agreement protects you. If I had a daughter or son buying a home that was not getting married, they'd be getting a cohabitation agreement. Would you like an introduction to the professional that can help you with that? Great. You don't say, I'm going to connect you to my divorce attorney. You don't say that. You say the attorney that I work with drafts cohabitation agreements. I'll have them give you a call. My point is this. Can you imagine sitting with a divorce attorney that your real estate attorney introduced you to, and you say to them, I have 2 clients that recently bought a home that were not married. They need a cohabitation agreement. I looked on your website and I recognize that you draft those. So teach me a little bit more about that so I can introduce my clients to you. What? No realtor on the face of the earth has ever been taught that. And yet it's needed. There's a 50+% chance this couple's not going to make it. I'm not speaking negatively. I'm looking at the data. I'm not speaking negatively. To me, the glass is never half empty or half full. I just get a smaller glass and it's always overflowing. Abundance, 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 gang. Always. But I do look at the data in my presentation and my service to my board of directors. That's one way you could catch the attention of a divorce attorney, because no realtors ever talk like that because they've never been taught like that. Second thing is, hey, maybe you and I can do some YouTube, some podcasts, some recorded Zooms that I can help post for you. Teaching people in the event of this is your next step. We can help the community in the event, God forbid, this is the next step. Top 3 things to look out for, what to do or what not to do in the event the marriage is soon to dissolve. We could come up with ideas. I would love to do that with you. Maybe we could do it in your office. Why would I want to do it in their office? Because I want to fish in the farm or the pond where the fish are. How about we go and do this in your office? Give your office the exposure. So I'm giving you 2 angles. If you don't like them, don't do them. But from my perspective, nobody's doing this, which means I need to. Questions so far on those 2? Okay. Still staying with the survey. Probate attorneys deal with the dead. Sometimes the estate planner and probate attorney work hand in hand. Sometimes the same guy or the same girl. Ask the probate attorney, where are you getting your business from? This goes back to what Daryl said, book and source, book and source, book and source. Where do probate attorneys get their business from? Other attorneys, estate planners. So my point is this: as you are looking for this guy to introduce you to these folks, you want to make sure that when that introduction happens, you've already done what? You've loaded the gun, so to speak. You've already done your surveys. You've already collected 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 clients that need the services of some of these team members. You may not have somebody today that's going into bankruptcy, but let me make this quite clear to you guys if you don't already know this. Right now, we as a society have eclipsed $1.3 trillion in credit card debt. 1.3 trillion. Automobile delinquencies and repossessions are the highest in history. I believe 1 in every 3 auto applicant gets denied. They don't want to write the loans. We're standing clear. What we're experiencing, we haven't experienced before. Our lending criteria got even higher right now. So if you pay attention to the data, $1.3 trillion in credit card debt, guess what? You're going to know somebody before you realize it that needs to file bankruptcy. Because the data is revealing the possibility, which then equals the opportunity. You have a reciprocal partnership with one of these people. This has nothing to do with real estate, and yet grows your real estate business. I'm not telling you to stop doing anything you're normally doing. What I'm saying is, do you have enough time today to add one of these things to the list? Just one. If you do, you do it. If you don't, it's okay. I'll see you next Monday. I'm not here speaking sarcastically. I'm not going to tell you to stop doing anything you're doing. Because when I tell you not to do something, you feel compelled to go do it. So all I'm going to say is, can you add one thing from what you've learned today that you can apply? That would be the concept. And not all of us are sitting on a team of 20+ agents. My Lord, Kristen could literally own the town if all of these agents were doing all of this on a daily basis just by making one call. In a matter of 1 month, That would be 20 human beings that all 20 agents would talk to. Can you imagine how much business opportunity you'd have for all of these people? That's a massive board of directors right there. This is an absolute no-brainer. And I'm not taking it away from the person that is a single person doing those calls, as Daryl and Lauren are displaying and doing a magnificent job of altering the trajectory of their business life by building their board of directors. Everybody calls it something different. Their vendor list, their VIP list, whatever it is that you want to call it. Remember, I don't call it that. And the reason I don't is because we live up to the title we give ourselves. People live up to the title we give them. If you call somebody a vendor, they're going to act like a vendor. You call them a board of director, a coveted seat at your corporation, they'll act like it when you teach them how to act like it. So be very cognizant of what it is that you're saying. They're not my VIP list. They're not my vendor list. Because they'll act like a vendor. You're pinching me for money. You want a sponsorship. You want co-marketing. I don't want any of that. None of that. I want your intention to contribute to this corporation, this empire. If you don't want that, it's okay. Go be a vendor for somebody else. I'm looking for partners, board members. You've elevated the status. People rise to the title. Questions or thoughts before we part, gang? Nothing. You got this? Come on in. All right. For those paying that want to come back and hear me for another hour, I will see you in 28 minutes. You guys apply this. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. That's a wrap, gang.